Hello and welcome to Nerdpool News. My name is Johnny and welcome back to our weekly roundup where we talk about all things new in the statue and collecting world. We've got a pretty decent week this week, so without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Now, in terms of actual releases this week, we didn't have a great deal that I could see of what was being released, but we did get these amazing new blog photos of the final product of the Hot Toys 501st Battalion Clone Trooper figure. Now, this is actually already shipping out to a lot of people. If you did order it from sort of Asian collector stores, I know that Jeddah Patrol already has a review up over on his YouTube channel. This thing looks really cool. It comes with multiple different portraits. It even has our orange portrait that shows the 501st's allegiance to Ahsoka Tano. It comes with a ton of accessories, jetpacks, different blasters. And I just think it's a really nice looking figure. I know some people are planning on getting multiple of these figures. Jeddah Patrol himself even already has 2. And is planning on getting somewhere like 12 of these things, or 6 of them. He's going to have his amazing setup, and I know there are other people out there that are planning on getting multiple of these and having a full-on army setup. I think that is an amazing, amazing looking figure. And you know, if you've got the money to buy multiples of these figures, this thing is just going to look so sick in your collection. And it is available right now, $250. It's still going to have to wait a little while longer until Sideshow get their stock in, as it is only just being released over in Hong Kong. But I don't think this is something, if you're a big Star Wars fan, you're not going to be disappointed with this figure. Now, continuing with the theme of Hot Toys, they did also give us a little teaser earlier in the week of their Loki figures they've got coming out. Now, we know for definite that means we're going to be getting a Loki in the TVA suit outfit. And we're definitely going to be getting a Lady Loki or Sylvie figure coming out, as we did see that teased as well. Now, as of right now, I have no other information. I don't know if we're going to be getting any other figures from the Loki series. But judging what else came out this week, I would imagine at some point later down the line, after we get those first 2 figures, we're going to get a few more figures from that Loki series. Speaking of what I just said, in terms of other figures coming out from other shows, we did get this White Vision figure from the WandaVision TV series. Obviously, this was the reanimated version of Vision that we did see at the end of WandaVision in that season finale. He hasn't got all of his memories back. He is fighting his own version of himself. And this one is, I'm going to be quite honest, this one's an interesting one to me, because in terms of the figure, it looks amazing. It has that LED function in the head, so that I'm going to call it an arc reactor that's in his forehead, which is powering him. You can have that light up with an LED function. But the thing that gets me the most is this weird accessory that kind of makes him look like a unicorn. I don't know why they chose this. You know, it's just a very clear point. Yeah, okay, you've got this energy feature spiraling around it, but man, that just makes him look like a unicorn. I don't know why. It's a really weird accessory. It's the only accessory that comes with it. This is a very, very straightforward, simple figure. You literally just have the figure, a couple of interchangeable hands. Apparently there's 2 different sets of eyes, the fully sort of blacked out eyes and the sort of more reanimated eyes from when he's had that contact in that Ship of Theseus speech that he has with his sort of former self. The only real sort of different accessory is this one unicorn horn that it comes with. Other than the fact that accessory is really weird, I do think this is a pretty nice looking figure, and it is available to pre-order from Sideshow Collectibles for $250, and there is going to be a link in the description down below for that as well. Now, moving on from Hot Toys, we're going to go with the stuff that Prime One Studios has released this week, and they released 2 very different and very interesting statues. One is a 1/3 scale bust of the Heath Ledger Joker. Now, this was in partnership with Blitzway, and this is actually something that is compatible with the 1/3 scale Prime 1 and Blitzway Heath Ledger Joker statue that they have coming out within the next couple of months. And this is actually an interchangeable portrait that you can put on that statue if you are buying that statue already. But if you're not buying that statue, it does come with this little upper torso part, and it has graffiti style on it. I think on its own, this is a really nice looking figure. But I find the interesting fact of being able to add this to an existing statue is quite strange. It almost feels like statue DLC. And I'm not sure if I really like that. I really think if you were going to do this, they should have released this new portrait with the statue, and they should have released it as a bust on its own at the same time. But nonetheless, this sort of 1/3 scale bust is $299 and stands around 10 inches tall. But the big one that Primon put out this week was their Jason Fabok Superman versus Doomsday statue. This is a 1/3 scale statue. And I'm going to be honest, I know the price is relative. This was a lot cheaper than I expected this to be. Bear in mind that you've got 1/3 scale Doomsday and a 1/3 scale Superman in a very dynamic pose. And it comes with a bunch of different accessories and deluxe. So the deluxe edition comes with different portraits and an interchangeable S symbol for his chest. But this thing is, for the deluxe edition, $2,200. Now, I know that sounds like a lot. And again, like I say, price is relative. But I was expecting this to be, $2.5K and above, really, for what this was. But, I do get it. The Doomsday, he's kind of coming out of the base, so you're only getting that upper torso for him. But still, this is a pretty big, pretty imposing looking statue. It's going to take up a lot of real estate in your collection. It is 95 centimeters tall and it's over 1 meter wide, because you do have that long flowing sculpted cape for Superman to create that sort of action dynamic pose. This is going to take up a lot of space. Now, there is another version that is not the deluxe version. There is the regular version that is $2,000, which is, I suppose, a little bit more wallet friendly. But still, this is an insane looking figure. Jason Fabok has done a really great line with this stuff with Promo Studios. That sort of 1000 Detective Comics cover Batman, that's probably one of their best Batman statues they've made so far. They had that awesome Wonder Woman versus Hydra from Jason Fabok. Again, they're putting out some amazing stuff here with Jason Fabok, and this one is absolutely no exception. Moving to a more smaller scale, we're going to go to Iron Studios. Now, they put out a couple of 1/10 scale figures this week. First one they put out was a Back to the Future 3 figure, which we actually did cover on a previous video where we talked about their releases. I think this was actually last week's video. Talked about this clock photo, which is from Back to the Future 3. I think this is a really nice looking figure. If you're into Back to the Future, you're a Back to the Future fan, you'll obviously no doubt recognize this scene. And it is 12 inches tall, it's 11 inches wide. So this is going to take up a decent amount of space for a 1/10 scale figure, and it's $310. And they did also put out two 1/10 scale figures that I'm a little bit more intrigued by, and that I'm probably more inclined for me to personally have in my collection. And that is their 1/10 scale sort of diorama figures that they have for Mandalorian versus Moff Gideon. Now, these are two completely separate figures. Both of them come in at around 8 inches tall, and Moff Gideon is $140 and Mandalorian is $145. Now, I like these. I like the fact that you can have them separated and you can display them separate in different places, or you can butt them up together to recreate that scene in the season finale and have the two of them fighting together. And we did have two new quarter scale statues revealed and up for pre-order this week from XM Studios. Now, first up is Supergirl. This one has caused a lot of controversy. I know a lot of people are not particularly keen on the portraits. I know in my own group on the Nerdpool HQ, we had a couple of people saying they weren't particularly keen on it. They said they found it just a little bit flat. It just kind of lacks the energy that I would expect. Portrait is quite plain. Even the sort of the heat vision laser beam eyes that they've got on the alternate portrait, I don't know, it's still just something about it. It's not got that pop that I would expect something like this to have. And I think there are other better Supergirl statues out there. But nonetheless, if you are interested in this statue, it is up for pre-order now for 1,199 Singapore dollars, which works out at around $890 to sort of $860. I think Spec Fiction has it up on their website for sort of $860. But again, even that, I think, $860 for a quarter scale statue. When you look at what Sideshow are doing, they've got Storm. They just put out Storm, which is, I think, a much nicer looking statue than this. And that was only $600. Now, that's a considerable price difference there for what is a statue that I personally do not think is that nice. There's this one that I think is really nice. But they did redeem themselves at the end of the week with this absolutely huge and insane looking RHINO. This is, of course, one of a very, very notable villains for Spider-Man, So much so that there is even a little hidden Easter egg on there. That crushed New York yellow cab upside down on that base. RHINO has completely destroyed it, and the number plate on it is ASM number 41. That is, of course, the debut issue of Amazing Spider-Man that RHINO did appear in. I love that. It's a very subtle nod to where RHINO has come from and his background with Spider-Man and everything like that. There's not a great deal of little hidden Easter eggs on this, but this is a gigantic piece. It is about 50 centimeters tall, 53 centimeters deep, and 52 centimeters wide. So this is a big guy. He's going to take up a lot of space, and rightfully so. You know, RHINO is not a small guy. I love the details on this. You know, the rhino hide that he's got in that suit. I think it's just really cool. It's very straightforward. It's very simple, but because he's such a big, imposing character, it's very powerful. And it does exactly what you expect a RHINO statue to do. He is, of course, a little bit more on the expensive side compared to the Supergirl. He is actually over $1,000. He comes in at $1,030 if I got my conversion rate right. And he is 1,399 Singapore dollars. Now, of course, I always talk about the Singapore dollars because 90% of the stuff XM put out, including this one for their Marvel stuff, it is not available worldwide and tends to just be available in that of Asian countries that you can get. So you are going to have to go through a third-party seller, and you're probably going to pay a significant amount on shipping for something like this because this is such a big piece as well. And then to wrap up this week's pre-orders, I want to touch on JND Studios. Now, they released a 1/3 scale hyper-realism Margot Robbie Harley Quinn. Now, this thing, the details on this are absolutely insane. The outfit looks amazing. That broken glass on the base looks amazing. The way they've done the cut and sew fabrics is just utterly, utterly top-notch. I don't think there's going to be many people out there that can beat this. But my main issue is the portrait. Now, I know a lot of people absolutely love it because it is that silicone molded portrait with that hand-punched hair. It creates that super hyper-realistic look that they're going for. But I think the problem with that is that with it looking so realistic and with it being so lifelike, when it doesn't look like the person is supposed to look like, it shows up even more. Now, I know that you can look at this and go, yeah, that's supposed to be Margot Robbie, but this thing is over $2,000. And like I said, the fact that it is so realistic, it's very obvious when it's off. And it is off. It is not off by a lot, but it is off. And I don't know. You know, Infinity Studios, I think, have made the most realistic looking Margot Robbie so far. But that was a full life-size bust that they made. This one, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being picky, and maybe this is just first world problems, right? But if you're spending $2,000 on a completely and utterly frivolous purchase, such as a giant statue of Harley Quinn, then I want it to look exactly like Margot Robbie. And this one just looks like one of those cosplayers that looks a lot like Margot Robbie dressing up as Harley Quinn. It is very close, but it's not there. I'm going to say it's probably about 85% there on the portrait. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, like I said, it's an amazing looking statue. I think this looks incredible. And anybody that is taking that jump and pre-ordering this, congratulations. You're going to be getting one of the most lifelike and realistic looking Margot Robbie Harley Quinn statues on the market today. But I'm sorry, it doesn't look like her. And now, of course, we're going to round up this week's news with sort of new reveals and teasers that we've got this week. And there wasn't a great deal. We did get a better shot at the Big Lebowski 6-scale figure from Sideshow Collectibles. I think that portrait looks really good. You can definitely tell it's meant to be Jeff Bridges. This is definitely going to be a decent looking figure. Again, Sideshow, their 6-scale figures, not quite as good in terms of their overall quality as Hot Toys is, but they're still pretty decent. I've got a couple of their 6-scale figures. I'm sure if you pick this up, you're going to be happy with this when this comes out for pre-order. And then we did get 2 statue premium format quarter-scale statues that they did reveal. We got a Dracula, which was Christopher Lee's Dracula. Now this statue looks really good. It's a quarter scale statue, and I can't imagine this is going to be majorly expensive. Maybe $500-600 for a quarter scale statue. That's decent money nowadays. I think it looks really good. And then we did get the Van Helsing, which is of course Peter Cushing. This one again also looks really, really good. Definitely can tell who these are supposed to be, and definitely something that if you're a fan of that old school Dracula film, you're going to be a big fan of this, and it's definitely going to be something that a lot of people are going to be very happy to have in their collections. Now that's it for this week in terms of statue and figure news. I did my best to try and keep it short because I know some of my videos have run on quite long for some time. But if you did stick all the way to the end, I would really, really appreciate it if you consider subscribing. You can also give the video a thumbs up if there's anything that you liked or that you're picking up this week. And also let me know in the comments down below what it is that you were looking forward to from this week. Whether or not you pre-ordered that epic Superman versus Doomsday, maybe you got the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn from J&D, or maybe you're just looking forward to those Loki Hot Toys figures. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you are at all interested in joining in more conversations outside of the world of statue and figure collecting, you're more than welcome to come and join us over at the Nerdpool HQ Facebook group. Again, links to everything will be in the description below. And until next week, see ya.